From what we've seen from The Outer Worlds 2, Obsidian is already getting so much right. Both the action and the RPG parts of the action RPG are being expanded, as the studio finally seems to be settling down into this setup. I got the chance to play through the opening of The Outer Worlds 2 at Gamescom, and I can happily confirm that this isn't just for show. Here, Obsidian gives us one of the best character creators of the genre, with a bunch of options to play around with, and gleefully encourages us to make our own mistakes. Play it safe or take some risks. The Outer Worlds 2 accommodates all. However, there was just one stumbling block that made me walk away with more concern than I had when I entered: the writing. With Avowed and the first Outer Worlds game, it has felt that Obsidian has struggled to work the magic that we've seen in other releases, like Fallout New Vegas and Pentiment. For many of us, we're not just here for the combat. We want a compelling narrative and memorable characters. It's too early to call it, but the demo hasn't sold me on this yet.
The Outer Worlds 2 character creator has so much freedom. Let's start from the beginning, which actually gives me a glimmer of hope. This time around, we're not playing as a complete nobody. We can choose from one of several backgrounds, which explains why we became an Earth Directorate agent, a soldier who gets sent out to the colonies to protect Earth's interests. We can be everything from an enthusiastic patriot to an outlaw who's trying to work off their bounty. But either way, we have a good reason for being here, while also having the freedom to come up with our own backstory. Even putting story potential aside, the character creator is just great from a mechanical point of view. Here, you can take one starting perk, or take 2 and 1 debuff. In my case, I gave myself a couple of buffs, but took on a negative trait that meant my character was unpleasant to be around, so my factional approval was capped at neutral. This is before we even get into the perks you unlock through gameplay, as the game reacts to your playstyle, so it looks like the sequel has nailed the RPG mechanics.
I hope the full game showcases some better writing than the demo. But that just brings us back to the less mechanical aspects of an RPG, the writing. As I mentioned, our setup is better this time, but I still have my concerns about the writing of the characters around us. The opening was quite cliché and predictable, and there was just something off about the dialogue. It's hardly an issue that is specific to The Outer Worlds 2, just a trend we are seeing where characters speak so plainly and matter-of-factly. Games that nail show, don't tell are getting harder to come by these days. In the worst example, there's a character you speak to early on in the opening mission. He's a fairly new recruit and asks you for advice on how he should approach being with the Earth Directorate. You can be polite or an ass, as you would expect. Fast forward a little later and you have to give him an order. Whether or not he follows your order depends on how you spoke to him earlier, but it's so on the nose that part of me is hoping it was supposed to be a joke. I do not need a character telling me that they perhaps would have done what I told them to do if only I were nicer to them 5 minutes ago. Thank you. No one needs that. Of course, this could all be part of a wider context that I just didn't get to see. The Outer Worlds was always quite unsubtle in its parody, but that doesn't need to come at the cost of setting up interesting characters and memorable, meaningful moments. The first Outer Worlds game especially struggled with this, and as interesting as the setting was, it sometimes felt too inauthentic and artificial. It's as if these characters were just sitting there for years waiting for me to come by. It's too early to say if the sequel will struggle with this, but at the very least, it has improved upon basically everything else. I just hope I can remember the companions' names a little better this time around, even if I'm having a blast as I run around shooting everything.